What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Fitment Industries Garage. I'm Gels from Fitment Industries, and we are here today with yet another episode of What Wheels Fit, where we go over all different types of wheel, tire, and suspension setups for different vehicles to help you guys out in your journey to find a new setup for your car, because that is just what we do to our cars. And today we are going to be going over the 8th generation of the Honda Accord. Now, before we go ahead and get right into it, don't forget to subscribe and check out some of the other videos that we have right here on the Fitment Industries Garage channel. And of course, once you're done with this video, watched it all the way through, you know what wheels are gonna fit your Honda Accord, don't forget to hit up fitmentindustries.com afterwards to check out all the wheels, tire, and suspension options that we have available right now for you and your car. We try to make this as simple and as straightforward as we possibly can. So picking out wheels for your car is a pretty big deal, and it's definitely one that you're gonna wanna get right the first time, otherwise you get kind of made fun of a little bit. So what we're gonna do is gonna take a look at some of the Accords that are sitting in our fitment gallery right now over at fitmentindustries.com and go over what they are running for their wheel, tire, and suspension setups. So the 8th generation of the Honda Accord runs from the years 2008 up until 2012. Pretty popular generation as of right now, since it can be picked up for relatively pretty dang cheap. So first things first, these cars are going to be running a 5x114.3 bolt pattern. For the recommended fitment range, we are looking at diameters from 17 to 20 inches, 7.5 to 10 inches for the width, and an offset landing from +22 all the way up to +50. So an absolutely huge range in the different wheel sizes in this car. Now, this is the average range of what we see from cars that are uploaded to the gallery, and gives us a starting point as to what to look at when we're looking at wheels and tires. But as you can see, still a very wide range of sizes and offsets to look at. And like I said, general fitment range, but you know, that's not what we're all about here. So let's go ahead and get into our first group of cars for today, which are going to have a good setup and a good fitment for those who want to daily drive their car and don't want to ruin the drivability. So these cars aren't going to be anything crazy aggressive. They won't be anything like super low. They're not going to require anything like fender rolling or trimming or anything like that, and they won't have any rubbing issues. All right, first car of the day, let's get it started with some 2012 with some ESR SR07s. And these are a size of 18 by 8.5 with a +30 offset. For tires, we're looking at some Toyo Extensa HPs, 235/40, and then for the suspension, we're sitting on some Tane coilovers. So nearly flush fitment with this setup. Not a whole lot of people running 9-inch wide wheels on these cars, unless, you know, they're for a staggered setup, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But an absolutely ton of people running 9.5. So bumping up the width a bit, we can take a look at this 2011 with some NK TS10 wheels. Now these are an 18 by 9.5 with a +35 offset. Michelin Super Sports for the tire choice, 255/40, and then sitting on some BC Racing coilovers. So even though we are going up a whole inch for the width, we are still looking at a good daily setup. Doesn't require you to get your fenders rolled or cause any rubbing issues, and you're still gonna have a nice flush fitment. The final car of this list of cars we're going to take a look at is this 2008 with some ESR SR07s again. However, this time we're looking at a 19 by 9.5 with a +35 offset. For tires, we have some Federal 595s with a 245/35 size, and then all that sitting on some BC Racing coilovers. So as you can see, 19 is looking pretty dang good on these cars as well. The next set of cars we're gonna start looking at here, we're gonna see some fender rolling and some other modifications become necessary as the wheel and tire sizes start to get a little more aggressive. We also start to see some staggered setups come into play as well. So people running a different size wheel on the front compared to the back. And this is specifically to get their fitments more dialed in, which, you know, with these cars seems to be pretty common. So first up on the list, we have a 2012 with some Varstolen ES2s, 18 by 9.5 with a +35 offset in the front, and an 18 by 10.5 +35 in the rear. For tires, we're looking at a 225/45 and a 245/45 for the size of these Nankangs, and then sitting on some Godspeed Project coilovers. Next up, we have another 2012, this time with some Work Emotion CR Kawamis, 18 by 9.5 +15 all around. So dropping that offset, 235/30 on some Lexani tires, and then sitting on some True Heart coilovers. Fenders rolled to get everything to fit nice, and there is a slight rub at full turn with that offset. And then our third car of the list, we have a 2011 with some Rotiform KPSs. Now these are a 19 by 10 +35 offset all around with a 255/35 Michelin Pilot Super Sport tire. Now, this is a tuck setup with these wheels, and that is thanks to the Airlift Performance air suspension and having the fenders both rolled and pulled. Now, we always like to take it one step further with these videos and go over some of the widest setups in the gallery for the cars that we cover in each of these videos. Just because there are people out there who like running that type of fitment or getting that look on their car, and it can be a little bit tough to come by that information. So obviously with these cars, there are going to be some extensive modifications done to get them to fit, and it's not going to be for everybody. But that being said, let's rapid fire through these last cars. First car on the list, 2008 with some Wedge Krons LXZs. 19 by 10 plus 22 in the front, and a 19 by 11 plus 15 in the rear. 245/35 for the tire size all around, and then sitting aired out on some Airlift Performance air suspension. Or this 2009 with some Flux Forge WB8s. 20 by 9.5 plus 20 in the front, and a 20 by 11 plus 17 in the rear. 225/35 and a 245/35 for the tire size, and then again sitting on some Airlift Performance air suspension. And that's about as crazy as we see uploaded to the gallery right now, at least for the stock body Accords. You get up higher than that, you start getting into like over fenders and things like that. But we're mostly talking about the stock bodies. But there you have it, some solid examples that are sitting in the gallery right now over at fitmentindustries.com for 8th gen Accords. If you're looking to pick up some aftermarket wheels, tires, and suspension, you want to see what it's going to look like first before you go ahead and drop some cash and then realize that you picked out the wrong size, and then you're having a bad day, and then you get laughed at all the time because your wheels don't fit. But hopefully this helped you guys out. Don't forget, if you want to check out some more for yourself, feel free to hop on over to the gallery. It's free to use. It's an awesome tool. But don't forget, wheels, tires, suspension, fitmentindustries.com. We will see you later.